Welcome back to the channel. I'm your instructor for my PTE Pro, and today we are diving deep into the listening section. We're tackling summarized spoken text, a high-stakes task that tests your ability to distill complex information into a clear academic summary. We'll learn how to filter out the noise, catch the core arguments, and structure a response that hits all the right notes for the PTE algorithm. Let's get started. If you find these breakdowns helpful, make sure to subscribe to my PTE Pro for more expert strategies. Let's keep working together to reach your target score. Before we start writing, we need to capture the speaker's main points. Make sure you have your notepad ready and try to focus heavily on the transition words, as they usually signal key ideas. Ready to test your listening skills? Let's play the audio.
Behavioral economics has revolutionized how we understand human decision-making, particularly through the concept of nudge theory. Developed by Thaler and Sunstein, this approach suggests that small changes in how choices are presented can significantly influence people's behavior without restricting their freedom of choice. At its core is choice architecture, which organizes the context in which individuals make decisions. For instance, making healthy snacks more visible in a cafeteria or setting retirement savings as an automatic enrollment option are classic examples of nudges. These subtle interventions are increasingly used by governments to improve public health and financial well-being. However, critics argue that nudging can be paternalistic and may undermine individual autonomy by manipulating subconscious biases. Despite these ethical debates, the efficiency of nudges in achieving social goals at a low cost makes them a popular tool in modern policy design. It represents a shift from traditional economic models that assume people always act rationally.
As we heard the speaker mention, the lecture begins by framing the topic within the field of behavioral economics. This is a vital opening because it identifies nudge theory as the primary concept that has changed our view of human decision-making. Notice how the lecturer emphasizes that this theory relies on small changes in presentation. It is important to note that these adjustments significantly influence behavior, but crucially, they do so without restricting the individual's freedom. The speaker introduces the technical term, choice architecture, as the foundation of the theory. This term describes how the speaker organizes the context of a situation to guide the individuals who are making choices. As we heard, the lecturer provides classic examples to make the theory tangible. Mentioning healthy snacks and automatic enrollment helps us understand how these nudges work in real-world settings like cafeterias or financial planning. Notice the speaker's transition to the policy level, where governments are adopting these subtle interventions. The goal of using such nudges is to improve public health and overall well-being for the population. The speaker introduces a critical counterpoint here. We hear that critics argue the practice might be paternalistic, potentially threatening to undermine individual autonomy by targeting our subconscious biases. Even with the ethical debates mentioned, the speaker highlights the efficiency of nudges. Because they reach social goals at a low cost, they have become a staple tool in how policies are designed today. In this final point, the lecturer explains that nudge theory marks a shift away from traditional economic models. It challenges the old assumption that people always act rationally, acknowledging that human behavior is more complex. We have just analyzed a comprehensive lecture on nudge theory, covering its definitions, applications, and ethical criticisms. To succeed in the PTE summarized spoken text task, we must now condense these points into a single, cohesive paragraph of 50 to 70 words. Our goal is to maintain academic formality while using clear connectors to link the theory's benefits with its potential drawbacks. Now, let's take these key points we've gathered and draft our perfect summary sentence by sentence. To start our summary, we introduce the main subject by stating nudge theory explores. We then explain the mechanism of the theory, which involves how subtle changes made within choice architecture. We finish the sentence by highlighting the core benefit, that these changes influence human decisions without limiting options. To build on our previous point, we start this sentence by identifying the primary users, noting that governments utilize these interventions. We use the phrase, "these interventions," to refer back to the nudges we just defined. We then specify the goal, which is to improve public outcomes, and provide examples like health and savings before concluding with the method of leveraging psychological tendencies. We connect this sentence to the previous positive points by starting with the subordinating conjunction, while highly effective. This allows us to acknowledge the benefits of being cost-efficient while transitioning to the negative side. We then state that the practice faces criticism and specify the two main concerns: individual autonomy and ethical manipulation. To wrap up our summary, we use the transition overall to signal the conclusion. We use the pronoun it to link back to nudge theory, describing it as a transformative tool. We end by placing the topic back into its broader academic and practical context: behavioral economics and modern public policy design. To master summarize spoken text, always remember that your summary must be a single paragraph between 50 and 70 words. Focus on identifying the speaker's main argument and at least 2 supporting points to ensure high content marks. Finally, use academic transitions and check your spelling carefully, as clarity and formal requirements are key to a high score.